this is Ignite the Fire, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my Skylanders Giants Legendary Locke series. Now, this would be the moment where I'd explain about Legendary Locke, but I'm not going to do that because we're already into chapter number 13. So why the hell are you on part 13 and don't even know what Legendary Locke is yet? That's what I want to know. But anyways, because this is part 13, as I previously implied, we are going to be heading out with chapter 13 in this episode. And it's time for the Oracle. This is going to be a short episode for us.
That you didn't sound completely crazy.
That is true, it would be lying if we said that, so that's why we're not going to say it.
Just talk to me again when you're ready to meet him.
Oh, we are ready to meet him. In fact, we're ready to meet him right now, so let's go. Without further ado, Boominator is in the house. Let's do things without further ado. Either ways, so we have 4 legendary characters left, which is not great, but at least we do have 1 power-up remaining, which is of course the healing elixir, which will allow us to heal up a Skylander of our choosing, but we can only use it once, so I've got to make sure to use it wisely. But I have no doubt in my abilities to get us through this level without any casualties, or at least that will be the ideal case, hopefully. By the way, the reason why I say we have 4 characters left is because whenever a character is defeated, they are classed as dead and they cannot use them throughout the rest of the lock. That has happened to 6 other characters, where I only have 4 characters left for this legendary lock, who is Legendary Trick Happy, Legendary Slam Bub, Legendary Ignitor, and Legendary Spider. As I mentioned previously, but it's Legendary Trick Happy, not just Trick Happy. Be specific, dude. How wrong with thee?
Handsomest, most heroic, charming, witty, and yes, even humble pilot in all of Skylanders. People tend to know you.
Yeah, there's many things you are, Flynn. Humble is not one of them.
I am the Oracle of Skylanders.
Or that works too.
That works indeed.
I also know what has brought you here. You seek entrance into the arcane lost city.
How did you know? You can't possibly be an all-knowing oracle, can you?
Oh, here we go with the cloud talk again.
Provided this Skylander can pass a series of trials, they are for my research. Your life forms are truly fascinating to me, and I wish to study the choices you make.
But if you're all-knowing, don't you already know how someone would respond to these trials?
While it is true that I can see into the past, and to some degree, the present, I cannot see into the future. At least not yet. That is the nature of my research. So, if you'd like to begin, I suppose your friends can wait back at the chute.
Well, sure, no problem. And when you think you're ready to put the stud in study, you know right where I'll be.
Your very first trial, Skylander, is the...
Don't you mean stuck? Because you totally get stuck without research, in all fairness, because you have no idea the difference between right and left. So how the hell research can be any better, I don't know.
Spiders.
Now, if I'm being completely honest here, I fear neither of those things. We're just going to pick the path that's easiest for us to go down, which is going to be the chompy path, because there's less enemies in this one, so you have more chance for survival. So basically what I'm saying here is low risk, high reward, and that's basically what we're doing right here when it comes to the chompy path. And not only that, but it's dedicated to the life element, which is Trick Happy right here. So another thing you guys will probably know about the lock is the fact that, you know, whenever an element of the area shows up, I must swap out to the Skylander that represents the element, no questions asked. But the thing is that as I mentioned previously, I only have 4 Skylanders left compared to 8 elements in the game. So what I've done is I've dedicated 1 Skylander to 2 elements. So Trick Happy here, for example, represents both the take and life elements, and then a Legendary Igniter represents both fire and... oh, that was bad. Both fire and undead. Yeah, this is really not good. And then Slam Bam represents both water and air. Oh shoot. And finally, we have Legendary Spire representing both magic and earth. And it's funny how I say I'm not going to explain about Legendary Locke, because you guys should really know what it is by now, and yet I go ahead and explain about it anyway. Very hypocritical of me. I'm trying to remind me of someone about school today, one of my encounters at school, which I'm going to talk about in a second right here, but right now let's focus more on the combat, because that's more important. Because hey, what's more important, school or Skylanders? Definitely Skylanders, guys. You got to get your priorities straight. It's like I'm saying to my friends every single day at school, you know. We have a choice. On Tuesdays after school, there's either maths division or swimming, and this is our exam year, so it's the year where we should really be focusing on our exams. The thing is that I'm saying you got to get your priorities straight. Swimming is more important than maths. And I say that as a joke, obviously, because it's not, but I still go swimming regardless, people, because I really enjoy swimming. And it's important to, you know, have a break from maths, because, you know, we do maths enough as it is at school, so I'd rather, like, have a break from maths and do some swimming instead. Okay, cool. We can hit him back down here, but he can hit us from up there, which is inconvenient. We'll get him eventually, guys, I can show you that much. But thank heavens for that charm that helps us deal damage to these large enemies right here, because if it weren't for that, this guy would be so much more harder to defeat right now. Boom, and he's down, son. Bang, and for Chompy Bot is gone. Little Sillet Bang reference, guys, if you guys couldn't quite get that right there. Oh, darn, that Chompy hurt, man. It's time for us to take revenge on all of the Chompies. And yeah, Trick Happy's seen better days, nevertheless. So let's just try to avoid all of the Tekken Life type areas, shall we? Mostly because, as I mentioned previously, I've no doubt my abilities to get through this level without any casualties, because we really need that at this point, because we have 4 Skylanders left to complete 4 levels. I can guarantee you that we will lose probably 2 in the final boss fight, so I want to leave at least 2 for such a final boss fight. But hey, at least we escaped it just fine, and now I've got these things to worry about. And by these things, I mean a small fish in a big pond, or a big fish in a small pond.
Next is the trial of heart.
Both of these are going to be tough, so it doesn't matter which one we take, really.
Would you rather be a small fish in a big ocean? Or a large fish in a small pond?
We're going to go with large fish in a small pond, because that's basically what I am. Okay guys, we're currently swapping out for Slam Bam right here, purely because the element of the area coming up is going to be dedicated to the air element, so swapping into him in anticipation for that. Because as I previously mentioned, Slam Bam both represents his home element, which is water, and the air element as well, because the air elemental character for this Locke has been defeated, unfortunately, which came in the form of legendary for Jetpack, but enough about that has been clearly said and done. These gates is either a little fish in a big pond, or a big fish in a small pond. Now we're going to go with this one in specific, and I'll tell you why once we get into it. But yeah, if those were the paths as previously mentioned by the Oracle right here. And if I fall silent or my commentary goes a little bit stale for a moment, guys, I apologise, but that's because I'm concentrating on the game. And that's because I really need to multitask now, because trust me, it's so hard to concentrate on both things at once. And that's mostly because, you know, your brain cannot physically multitask, but it can swap between tasks very, very quickly, however, and that's pretty much what my brain does near enough. It's very good at swapping between tasks very, very quickly, nevertheless. Kind of like a computer almost, to go as far to say, because when it comes to computers, like, they can't do multiple tasks at once unless they have, like, multi-core processors, in which case they can. But even then, like, it'll be different cores working on different things at once, and not, like, different things being ran over the different, not the same thing being ran over different cores. And that's basically a multi-core process, and I'm sure I can get into that later on if I remember to, that is. Knowing me, I probably won't. But when my brain is kind of like that, how it can swap between tasks very, very quickly, just like a single core processor would in a computer, because of course a single core processor can only work at one thing at once. However, it can swap between tasks very, very quickly, is basically what I'm saying right here. And that's what I was previously mentioning about school. I'll get into that once I'm finished with these combat scenarios right here, purely because, like I said previously, I want to concentrate on those first and foremost. Okay, watch out for that right here. And school links in with everything right now at the moment, because I haven't been uploading a lot recently. You guys have definitely noticed that. In fact, some of you guys have been asking about that, so I'll have to get into that as well, because that also links in with school. Oh, cook, please. Slam Man, we can do this. We can do this, buddy. Yeah, this is so cheap. Having this many, like, ranged enemies that can be this cheap all in the same area is not fair. I'd go as far to say. Why did I put that there? Of all the places I could have put it, did I have to put it there? Pushing out that, of course. Yeah, we cannot take a single hit, or else we will be dead. And that much I do not want, clearly. Don't do that, Slam Man. That's the complete opposite of what I want you to do. Mostly because that puts us in harm's way. Now, how many hits can these things take? Jeez. Yeah, I'm just slowly rotating between these two, because that's probably the best way to take them down and up. And great, now we've got these guys to worry about. Those guys are more guys which we don't want to get hit by, because I'm pretty sure they would be one-hit KO at this point as well. Now we could go behind it, but going behind it, I'm pretty sure it can still use that person even more risk, because it'll put us in tight space, which we won't be able to dodge her attacks like we can in the open out here. That was close. I thought it hit me. Closest we've ever been, fellas. Okay, this part I need to be really, really careful here because hashtag Slam is fat, and the fact that his hitbox is pretty big, so if you were to be in the middle of one of these things, we would still be attacked by it, because basically what I'm saying here is that his hitbox is so big that if we was to be in the middle of this thing right here, we would still be crushed by it, so that's what I'm trying to be cautious of, nevertheless. And then once we've got through these crushes, I can talk about school at long last, the thing that you guys have been anticipating for a while now. Okay, we're going to go for it as soon as these things have lowered. Okay, got through it, we have, nice. Now it's just the second one right here, which I need to highly concentrate on, nevertheless. Please don't raise. That thing's going to raise, isn't it? Yes, it is. That was close. Okay, after this one's gone down, we're going for it. Oh, darn, we can't. Please let that thing lower before that thing raises. Thank you, game. For once, it was generous to me. Oh, and hey, there's a soul gem right here. Of course, we're going to grab it. Are we going to preview him? No, we're also going to grab it still, nevertheless. Because why the hell not at this point, right? Oh, shoot my eye out for your eyeball. Do we want to preview it? No, not yet. So anyway, going back to previously what I was saying about school. So, yeah, when it comes to my badminton club on Fridays, someone arranged a miniature tournament, like among the year 11s and stuff, and the thing was that I wasn't able to be placed into it because they was doing mixed teams, as in boys and girls. But the thing was that there's 6 boys to 5 girls, so that meant that one of us boys would have to, like, be kicked, wouldn't be able to make it onto like the tournament teams, and that was me, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to be a part of the tournament, which was a huge shame, and that quite upset me. Oh no, did it have to be this? This was the one that I was hoping for least, purely because, you know, these guys are both melee characters, both Ignitor and Slam Man, and melee characters do not do well in these type of situations. Hold on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back to concentration right now, guys. Concentration is key. Because, man, I'm not willing to lose Ignitor right now. And I'm sorry I keep on going off topic, guys, but like I said, commentary can be tough. But as long as I get through everything that I wanted to get through when it comes to my commentary in this episode, eventually that's what matters. Yeah, this is going to be tough, alright. Okay, good. That was slowly but surely damaging them over time. Okay, run Ignitor, run. Not good. Nottos, goodos. Oof, that was close. Right there. Did you see that lag right there, guys? I sure hope you did, because that was some hilarious lag, nevertheless. Oh, one of them's about to go down. Oh, yeah, that's going to be helpful, nevertheless. And this is why I love Ignitor right here. People say he's a melee character, but it's not just melee, with the fact he does have that ability still. And also makes him so useful, because the blue flame that's left around damages enemies over time, so do not forget about that. It's going to be so useful. As you can tell right here, as you can see, even, I use those blue flames to my advantage. Oh, boy. He's so close right now. Any day is a bad day to be your foe, dude. You're so overpowered. I mean, like, look at that. We got close, but what matters is that we survived in the end, and we haven't got 2 watermelons from it, so at least we can heal ourselves up quite quickly. But anyway, going back to what I was saying about school, at long last, so yes, when it did come to that, what wound up happening is... Oh, yes, this is a puzzle that's much more calm than the previous ones. So yes, when it came to school, yes, I was unfortunately unable to go to the tournament, and it did upset me, as I previously mentioned, I should go as far to say. And the reason why that upset me was not because I wasn't in the tournament, because I'm totally fine not being in the tournament. In fact, it's probably best I wasn't in it, because I get kind of frustrated when I lose a badminton, and I know for a fact I wouldn't have won the tournament anyways, because whilst I am good at badminton, I'm not as good as the other people who were in the tournament, so I would have lost it anyway. So it's best I didn't go to it, because it would have saved me and a lot of other people a lot of frustration. But what made me upset about it, oh yeah, this means we've got to swap up the legendary spell right here, because he referenced that element. So yeah, what made me upset by it was the fact that nobody came to apologise about the fact that I unfortunately couldn't make the teams. And, you know, it's totally fine. I would have accepted it just fine, because I'm a very understanding person at points. And the thing is that, you know, we don't have members for the team. We don't have members for the team. I am fine with that at the end of the day. But that's the thing. Nobody came to say that to me. Nobody came to apologise that I wasn't in the tournament. And quite frankly, it seemed like nobody cared, so they just left me alone to feel neglected and unwanted. And there's nothing worse than having that feeling of isolation or loneliness that those guys were putting upon me, because they made me feel like I wasn't wanted upon the rest of the club, and they made me feel like, you know, they'd completely forgotten about me, like I wasn't important. And it's that feeling that is completely awful to feel. It's a feeling that nobody should have a right to feel. And so that's what really upset me about the tournament. And so, you know, it's okay, I ask, yeah, please consider me for the next one. So it turns out they're going to be doing another tournament on Friday. And they left me out of it again after my specific request for them not to do that. So where's the point in that? So, okay, if they're doing the tournament with the same people, they're just shuffling up the teams a bit. So I find that incredibly unfair with the fact that they've neglected me for a second time in a row when everybody else had a chance to participate last time. So why should the same people have the same chance to do it again and again when there's other people who deserve a chance just as much as them? It was unfair, and once again they've neglected me for no good reason whatsoever. And it's not like these people don't like me either. And so that's made me feel really, really upset about things nevertheless. Because being neglected 2 times in a row, it really does hurt, guys. In case you don't know that feeling, trust me, it's one of the worst ones out there. And anyways, nevertheless, what wound up happening is that something very hypocritical happened, and that's why I was mentioning about being hypocrites earlier. And as for the path I'd rather take for the knowledge path, of being completely honest with you. But yeah, I was mentioning about about being hypocrites earlier. And then, I'm sorry I stuttered right now, I can't remember the word I used before, mostly because I made it up and it doesn't exist. But anyway, my point is that I was mentioning about those because someone said, don't be mardy about it, even though she is the mardiest person in my class. No joke about it. Why did I not wear that hat? I gave up golf that hat and did not wear it. How stupid of me. Let's go back and change that. So yes, why should the person who is moody about literally everything tell me not to be moody about it? That's what really rubbed in the soul, because she doesn't understand. Of course I'm going to be moody about it. I was neglected and forgotten 2 times in a row over other people who have already had the opportunity, and so they get it again over someone who hasn't. It's unfair beyond relief, and she cannot understand that, and yet she's the one who tells me not to be moody, even though she's moody about everything. So yes, why am I being told not to be moody by the one who is moody? I know it's so hypocritical, right, guys, and that's why I mentioned about that earlier, and that's why I mentioned about that 5 times in that whole sentence right there. Record for mentioning the same thing for the most amount of times in the same episode goes to Ignite the Fire, and also the reward for making the least most sense with this commentary, making up the most words ever in this commentary, also goes to Ignite the Fire as well. I'm just awesome at that, I suppose. And the best thing about this episode, no casualties! Oh, I'm so happy about that. Nevertheless, we managed to get through it without losing anyone, so that means we have 3 chapters left with 4 Skylanders remaining. And man, that's magical, right? Ironic how you say magically when we're using a magic Skylander right here. I'm sure we can do it at some point. But anyway, I did also previously mention about CPUs and multi-core processors, and I say I'd elaborate on that later, so I may as well do that before we end up the episode right here, because it'd be unfair for me not to. So basically, when it comes to CPUs, you can have a processor. Now, this can be a multi-core processor or a single-core processor. And what this is that every core has the ability to do one thing at once. So if you have a single core, then it can only do one thing at once, and it can't do 2 things at once, but it can swap between doing things very, very quickly. So it can stop doing one thing that it's doing and swap it out for another. That's what a single core processor can do. However, if you have a multi-core processor, what happens is that the same task cannot be distributed between the different cores. So say if you have a 4-core processor, you can't do one task using all 4 of those cores. One task will still be dedicated to one specific core, but what we can do is you can do different tasks which all cores can be doing simultaneously. So what I mean by that is that you can be doing 2 tasks over 2 different cores at once, as long as you have a multi-core processor. And your brain functions kind of like a single core processor for a CPU, in the fact that, you know, it can't physically multitask, it can't do 2 things at once, just like the processor can't. But it can swap between tasks very, very quickly, just like the processor can as well. And that's why the CPU is called the brain of a computer, you could say. But anyway, enough about my computer knowledge right now. I thought I'd give you guys that, because as I mentioned previously, the best way to revise is to basically give out this knowledge in these videos, because that means that I'm revising by saying my knowledge out loud. And it means that you guys are revising at the same time, because you guys get to listen to me and my awesome knowledge, nevertheless. By the way, clearly enough has been said and done. We have finally earned that no life loss objective, because there was no casualties, as previously mentioned. But clearly about this episode has been said and done. Wait, what? That made no sense. How to fail an outro by Ignite the Fire. But no, seriously guys, clearly enough has been said and done. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you next one. But until then, peace.